Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I thought I would take advantage of this absolutely gorgeous day we're having and record a video outside. I've been meaning to do this for a while, but just haven't ever gotten around to it. So I figured I would kind of take a walk around and do the video this way. So as you can probably tell from the title of the video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the LingQ app that I have been using. So I've been using it for, I don't know, a few weeks. I don't even know how long it was. And I did really enjoy it. It was a pretty good way to get in some reading and kind of practice that. And it was a good way to try and get some vocabulary. But there was a couple of issues that I had with it that kind of made me not really like it as much, and kind of made me just want to see if there was something else out there. And so a couple of things that I started to not really like about it was with LingQ, when you click on a word or a kanji or whichever that you don't know, you click on that and it pops up a kind of a list of words or of definitions for that word. And in that list of definitions that you have, and you can go in and actually make the list a little bigger. It'll generally just give you like 2 to start out with, and then underneath that it'll have the option to look at the Jisho Kanji website in order to see what it looked like. I apologize if it gets a little windy. It looks like the wind might be starting to pick up, so hopefully you can hear me. But the 2 options that it would generally give you or any of the options with the exception of Jisho Kanji, which only gives you the English equivalent. It doesn't give you the pronunciation, or the onyomi or the kunyomi reading. Not pronunciation, the reading, sorry. Which, having the English equivalent is great. It means that you'll be able to know what that kanji means, but you won't be able to know how to actually read it in Japanese, which is part of the problem that I had with that. Now, the other options that it had were ones that were input by other users. It wasn't like the LingQ kind of the people that run LingQ were putting in their own options or anything like that. It was just users that were putting those in. So the problem with that is they weren't always, it's not that they weren't always accurate. I mean, some of them weren't accurate, but it made it very, very inconsistent is what it was. It made it really inconsistent. Because sometimes you would get really good examples and really good definitions of the reading. Sometimes you would get ones that were not so great. Now, for a little while that was okay, and I didn't necessarily mind it. But after a while I started to realize this was not the best way to go about this. There had to be better ways to do it. And I think the biggest problem with me for LingQ was the fact that all of the readings and everything for Japanese specifically were input by users and not by the people who knew what they were doing. Because literally anybody could have gone in there and put in the definition. You could put in your own definition. And that makes it look kind of nice, a little bit. Because if you were to look it up, I guess one way I could do it would be a lot more work, is if you select a word and you look at the reading, you input that reading and it matches that kanji that was there, so then you know it was correct. So then you could input your own definition that you would like it to be. And I could do it that way, but that's a lot of work. It is a lot of work just to make that program work. And it wasn't something that I wanted to do. So instead, I decided to start looking for other avenues. And I had kind of fallen off. I was using Link, but I wasn't using it as much as I had been before. Instead, I started looking for other avenues. And just actually a couple of days ago, so today is Saturday, so just a couple of days ago on Thursday, I actually made a discovery while I was going through YouTube and watching some YouTubers that were learning Japanese or had learned Japanese, and I found a couple of them. So one YouTuber was talking about podcasts, which I had always wanted to do because I really enjoy listening to podcasts. I listen to Disney podcasts all the time, but I wanted to find some podcasts that were that were in Japanese, not necessarily for Japanese learners, but that were in Japanese. That's what I wanted. And so this video actually helped me a lot, and I'll have to look up and see if I can find who it was that put this video out. I literally just ended up looking up Japanese podcasts in YouTube, and I came up with a couple of hits. And the one guy that I watched, he gave his top 5 Japanese podcasts that he likes to listen to. And I also watched another girl's video, who I'll get to later. And so I found a couple of podcasts in there that I thought I might enjoy. One of them was Soko Ani or Sono Ani. I think it was Soko Ani is what it was called. And it is a podcast in Japanese about anime. Now, why was this cool for me? Because I really like anime. I like watching anime. And so I knew right off the bat that was going to be a good option for me. So I started listening to that on Thursday while I was at work. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the energy of the podcasters. I enjoyed what they were doing. They were laughing. They were having a good time. That's what I want. So I listened to I think 4 episodes of that. So I listened to almost 4 hours worth of that while I was working. It was really nice. Then I watched the other video. I watched a video from another YouTuber about podcasts in Japanese, and she had a couple of good suggestions too. But I got really interested because I'd seen one of her videos before, but hadn't really watched her. So I decided that I would take that opportunity to go look at her channel, see what other videos she had to offer. And she has some good stuff. She's very likable. She's very charismatic. Her and her boyfriend, her boyfriend's in some of the videos, or fiance or husband, or I'm not sure what their relationship is at this point. But her significant other is also in some of the videos, and he was also learning Japanese, which also made it kind of fun for me to watch. One of the things that I discovered on her channel, she had a video that she did just a couple of months ago, I think, about an app. And the title of the video was it was something to the effect of something like the only app that you need to read Japanese, or something like that. And so I was like, okay, let's go look at this and see if she's just exaggerating. So I watched the video, and in the video she was talking with the main developer of an app called Satori Reader. And hopefully I'll be able to find a picture of that and put it up here so you can see it. Now, Satori Reader is what I noticed when I first loaded it up, because I immediately was like, okay, I'm going to download this. I paused the video, went and downloaded it, then went back and kept watching the video. So what Satori Reader is it's similar to Link. It is just a reader. You go in there to read in Japanese. Now, here's one of the things that I really like about Satori Reader. And I'll hopefully, after I've used it for a while, just like with Bluebird here, hopefully pretty soon, I'll do kind of a full review on it and tell you what I think of it. Just because I think it's good to have a review from somebody who is actually actively using it to learn, rather than those two YouTubers. They have reviews of some things, but you get a different perspective on it from them because they already know Japanese. They're already pretty advanced in their Japanese. And so it'll be a little bit different coming from me. Now, with that, before I do the review and everything, one of the things that I will say that I really like about this app is that it allows you to switch the how you're reading it to include either hiragana and katakana only, or you can include kanji, and it gives you the option to include kanji to the level that you know. And then in the preferences, you go through and you select the number of kanji that you know, and so it has like, you're at an basic elementary level 1, which is 80 kanji, which is one that I have selected, even though I'm a little bit behind on that. And then like level 2 was a little more than that. And so you select how many kanji you know, and it will pop in the kanji that you should know based on that. So then when you go and read, it will only have those kanji. Any of the other words that would have kanji for them, but are ones that you shouldn't know based on your level of knowledge, based on what you've input as your level of knowledge, those will show up as hiragana. And that part I find really cool. The other thing, and the reason that I'm now using this instead of LingQ, even though they're very, very similar, is that when you select a word in Satori Reader, you'll click on the word just like you would in LingQ, or the kanji or whatever, and it won't pop up a list, and it won't have the two most popular answers that everybody does, or the translations that everybody does. It gives you one option. That option is not one that was input by a user. It was not input by a user. It is one that the developers themselves put in there, and it is very heavily proofread and vetted so that it will be correct. They have a team in Tokyo, they have a team in Seattle that are working on these. The other thing I find really cool is that in Satori Reader, all of the readings, stories and news articles and stuff they have in there are all produced by Satori Reader themselves. They produce it all themselves. It's all original works, and that made it really fascinating for me. I would rather read an individual work, or an original work rather, excuse me. I would rather read an original work rather than trying to go and find something, like trying to get Harry Potter in there, which they have like the first one, I think, in LingQ, or like having to go out and import your own stuff. That to me just added extra steps to it that didn't need to be there. Whereas in this one, you don't have those extra steps. You can just go in and select one of the stories, and each story is organized by episode, which is essentially a chapter. And you can just go through and select the ones that you like. They have kind of a scary story in there. They have a couple of thriller, kind of murder mystery ones. They have some other random ones that kind of like culturally based about Japan. They have, and then they have news. And they're all short little snippets. They're never very long. And just the fact that I was able to select whatever word or kanji that I was looking at, and immediately it popped up and was like, this is what it means. And it had the reading. In the case of kanji, it had the reading. That made such a difference to me, and it's already making a huge difference for me. Also, the fact that you can tell it to put fyorigana over the kanji, that was another thing that made it really good for me, because I need those fyorigana, because I may recognize some of the kanji, but I don't always know how or what reading to use, or what the readings are. Maybe I'm struggling with remembering what the reading is or something like that. So it has been kind of a lifesaver. And so hopefully after a few weeks of using Satori Reader, I will be able to sit down and do a review of it so that you guys can all see what I actually think of it and see whether or not it's been working for me. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. Like I said, I've been using Satori Reader today, Saturday. I got it on Thursday, so today will be day 3 of using it. I haven't used it today. And I deleted LingQ last night. I canceled my subscription. I deleted LingQ. Satori Reader does have a free version and a paid version. There's the free version gets you the first 2 episodes of every story, And then if you want the other ones beside that, and like unlimited, like you can just keep using those stories and keep reading them. And then the paid version, which I believe is $8.99 a month or like $89 a year, that one you get unlimited access to their entire library, and they put new content on there every week. So that's another cool thing, is they're constantly adding new content. So but yeah, I just kind of wanted to make a video explaining why I am now no longer going to use LingQ and what I'm going to use instead. So from now on, I will be using Satori Reader as opposed to LingQ, so that I can do some reading and hopefully get some more vocabulary in. So that's all for today. Thank you all for joining me this week. I hope to see you all back again next week, and hopefully either next week or the week after I'll be able to do a review of Bluebird Languages, because I've still been using that. So stay tuned for that. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy the video, make sure you leave a comment down below and hit the like button. Hopefully I will see you all next week. And as always, don't forget to thank the Phoenicians.